Hello guys and welcome to another episode of Everyday EDC. My name is Tyler and today we have the Quest for King Civivi round number 2. Just as a full disclosure, this is my second take on this video because the animal started going crazy, the coffee started bubbling. Yeah, so I think I needed a coffee to redo this here. I had nothing else to do, by the way. Wife got me that. That thing's awesome. Made a mess, but... Alright, jumping into this, we got the Mini Bullmastiff versus the Exarch in the Quest for King Civivi. We will be comparing these two knives. Most of what I try to compare off of is objective feel with with some data points behind it. There will be some subjective categories, so you may disagree with some of the things that I say, and that's quite alright. Please leave it in the comments below. I won't change the winner, but I am definitely open to a debate and admitting that I'm wrong in the future if that's the case. So let's go over the 7 categories. We have aesthetics, which is the purely subjective category. Ergonomics, which is how the knife feels, and that's probably one of the most useful categories in this list. Quality, but when I'm talking about Civivi versus Civivi, I'm going to talk about quality feel. When it gets in your hands, it's not so much of an ergonomic feel, but it's going to feel which knife feels like a more solid, well-worked item than the other. Fidget factor, that's pretty straightforward. The carry of the knife, how it carries with you on an everyday basis. The blade shape, the blade material, the sliciness of the blade, the usefulness of the blade, that'll all go into that category. And then last but not least would be the value. So jumping right into this, the aesthetics. Full disclosure, I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. I'm gonna try to blitz through it without missing something. So if it feels faster than my other videos, I always tend to ramble and people only watch 30% of the video. So so aesthetics. This one was a toss-up because it's subjective, but in my opinion, I think the Exarch takes the win. The reason is there is something so appealing about the simple geometry of this. These sides are knocked down right here. It just looks classy. I feel like I can put this knife in like a pair of my, if I were to dress up in a suit, I feel like this can go in my suit pocket while tucking the Civivi thing into my pocket to hang it out like a little square, That'd be kind of ridiculous, but cool. So the aesthetics are going to go to this. I can see how one who is in love with the butcher blades would give it to the Mini Bullmastiff, but while I appreciate these and I think they look super cool, I think the aesthetics of the Exarch and what it is for what you're getting is very cool. But it's going to hurt it in another category, and we'll jump into that right now. The ergos. This is not an ergonomic knife to use. Sure, you can get your whole hand around it, but I mean, it's almost like you're holding it like, I don't know. I don't feel that this isn't even a forward finger choil. This is like a sharpening choil. You can't really put your finger here. There's nowhere to really put your hands. It's squared. There's nowhere that locks it in. Does that make it render it useless? No. But in the category of ergonomics, a knife like this kills it. This feels comfortable as all hell in my hand. This feels comfortable in my hand. Excuse me. So I have to give the ergonomics to the Mini Bullmastiff. So if we're keeping score, 1 for the aesthetics for the Exarch, 1 for the ergonomics for the Bullmastiff. Mini Bullmastiff. Quality feel. As I said before, this one, unfortunately, for the Civivis is going to turn out to be a little bit more subjective. Reasoning is everyone kind of to each your own. I am giving the quality feel to the Exarch. The reason is there's something about this short, the way this handle is, it feels solid. Everything in this, it's not that this doesn't. If I had to make a choice, I originally had this as a tie, but I went back and I tried to make a decision, and after forcing myself to make a decision on the quality feel, I have to give the quality feel to this. And I guess it's all on, you could pick up either knife, and I think anybody can take this either way. which is why maybe it's more fair to leave it as a tie, but I'm not going to. I don't want to end up with another tie for us. So I'm giving the quality feel to the Exarch. Like I said, the reason being is when you hold this, this just feels solid. I'm sitting here pressing down on all of this, and it just feels like a solid knife. This right here, because of it feels solid. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this. I don't know. There's something about when I pick this up that it feels like there was more thought that went into this knife, even with its simplicity. You can go on and on about that, but you don't find a simple looking knife that is appealing that often, and I think the Exarch really accomplishes that in itself. I do feel that the simple geometry of this knife, they turned it into a very appealing thing, which is cool. So we have 2 for the Exarch, 1 for the Mini Bullmastiff. The fidget factor. This one, to me, was a no-brainer once I picked both of these up. Obviously, both being Civivis, you know, you have great action. As we can see on this Mini Bullmastiff, you can do the spotty flick. I can't really do the thumb flick on this guy, but apparently I can't do a spotty flick either. You can do a spotty flick. You got the flipper tab. Obviously, both on ball bearings. The Exarch only has one method of opening, but I did find that when I'm playing with it, if you apply a lot of force, there's something to be said for making different sounds with it as you're going. It sounds kind of dumb, but if you have one in your hands, you'll get it. Where the winner pulled away in the fidget factor, is 2 things. Which knife did I reach for the most, especially when I was just sitting there flipping a knife? And another factor. So I want us to take a look at this jimping on this liner lock. Let's see if I can get the line in. All right, there we go. So there's that. And this really isn't jimping. This is like mini, almost like they took a little zzz, 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 zzz. I am giving the fidget factor to the Exarch. Once you learn how to forward flip a knife, and then you have this liner lock that, just like with a couple other of my knives, one being the Statera, one being the Proelia TX050, this liner lock, it's not so stiff that you can frickin' flick this thing for days. And for being such an incredibly light blade, I mean, it's pretty incredible. So I had to give the fidget factor to the Exarch, as I feel, for that factor. Now, an argument could be made for the Mini Bullmastiff due to the heavy weight of the blade, and I need to do a little TLC to my knife. I sharpened it, and then I must have got some fucking crud in there. It's not unfun to fidget with. I had to just go off of what I naturally reached for when I was forcing myself to make a decision, and that would be the Exarch. So if we're keeping score, that's 3 for the Exarch. You got aesthetics, you have quality feel, and fidget factor. The ergos are going to the Mini Bullmastiff, so it's a 3-1 score right now. Jumping into the next category, the carry. So this, imagine carrying one of these around all day, right? If carry means a lot to you, and it's meaning a lot less to me nowadays, now that I'm carrying all different sizes of knives, but if carry means a lot to you, it's pretty apparent which one of these wins. I mean, just look at that. That awkward carry profile of this thing is ridiculous. I do like how they didn't really prioritize anything with the lanyard hole, but this one's got this little stubbied out here that doesn't affect anything. You really don't know it's there, and you could throw this thing on a lanyard all day and be happy with it. So, unfortunately, the Exarch also takes another one down for the carry. I'm going to get into why all this is kind of ironic in the end. And if you couldn't tell, not to give it away, but we are sitting at 4-1 out of 7 categories, and that leads us to a winner, right? Let's go into the blade real quick, now that we're finished. Sliciness. Now, the sliciness definitely goes to the Exarch. But where the Bullmastiff really pulls away is you have a lot more meat and belly of this blade. And I think the ergonomics helped me make this decision that I can use this blade for a long period of time and have nothing affect me. In the hand, it feels great. Hold on one sec, guys. Let's see if I can see. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's a 9CR18 MOV. I believe this is D2. So you can make an argument there. I haven't done any testing, but from my experience, I just like 9CR18 MOV better. You can make the argument for the edge retentiveness of D2, but I could turn around and say that the 9CR18 MOV is going to be less corrosive, right? Or more resistant to corrosion, rather. So that's a toss-up. I don't really care to hear the argument between those two blade steels. I personally feel that they're of the same caliber in their own right. But I am going to give the blade to the Mini Bullmastiff. I would rather cut with the Mini Bullmastiff all day, which is why I find this whole thing ironic. As you guys can already tell, the Exarch won based on the criteria that I set forth. That being said, if I had to choose a knife to break down boxes with or do something that I'm going to be doing a lot of extensive knife work with, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to pick this guy up. I mean, ergos and blade shape mean more than anything, but I'm not weighing these categories heavier than one or the other. This is a perfect letter opener. It's a perfect, tape cutter. You can do a lot with this, and I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying I can pick this up and use this forever. The blade is going to go to the Bullmastiff. Not to mention, how do you not give a blade shape to a butcher blade? I mean, that's just, there's something about it that the whole knife is the freaking blade. So, and then last but not least, for those of you keeping score, that's a 4-2 right now. 4 for the Exarch, 2 for the Mini Bullmastiff. And then the last category, the value category. So the Exarch, I just looked it up as of today, 7/29/2020. The Exarch's coming in at $49.30. The Bullmastiff is coming in at $49.99. I'm going to call that a tie. 60 cents, if that's your make or break on deciding a knife, well then, I don't want to make fun of you, but I kind of do. So there you go, guys. This is the very first winner so far, because we still have the Praxis and Statera out there. Shane and Justin, if I'm reading your comments correctly, it appears that for the Praxis and the Statera, you guys are 1-1. I think Shane is going for the Statera while Justin is going for the Praxis. What I might have to do, if I end up with a tie, instead of making a decision, I will advance the two to the next round. I'm comfortable doing that with the two staples that Civivi has made of those knives, even though they discontinued the Statera. I love both of those knives very much, and I think that both of them have their place in round 2, or I guess the second tier of the quest for King Civivi. I don't have a problem doing that. I want to add one amendment to this video. This knife, the Mini Bullmastiff. This knife, if I had the Damascus and the frickin' carbon fiber, it would blow the Exarch out of the water. I'm going to try to link a screenshot of that at the end of this. And oh my god, does that knife look friggin' awesome. Watch to the end of this video. I'm going to do my best to kind of edit in a picture of that. Oh, jeez. It's one of those that it changes the whole, it rocks your world on the way this knife looks. If they can get the regular Bullmastiff to look like that, and it looks not stupid because it's so big, I'm going to own one all day. It just looks so beautiful. So, all right. I know this has been kind of a more subdued version, but I kind of wanted to rip through it, and I still ended up at 14 minutes. You have your winner. The Civivi Exarch is advancing to the second tier of the quest for King Civivi. My name has been Tyler, and it still is, apparently. This has been Everyday EDC. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep your knives sharp. Stay safe. Don't do nothing stupid. Do your best not to cut your fingers. Wear your masks, be respectful of other people, 6 foot distancing, etc., etc., etc. Have a great day, guys.